All right, so these are the notes that we went over in class today. I just want to remind you, we said quadratics were anything that had x squared in them. Today in class, when we did standard form, we did, with quadratics, we did ax squared plus bx plus c, where the letter by itself was the y-intercept, which means the point on the y-axis. The first number tells us a slope if it's a whole number. Remember, if it's a fraction, we had to plug stuff in. And it tells us if it opens up or down. It would open down if it was negative. Vertex form is the new thing that we're doing in notes today. So this is really where we're going to focus our time today. Remember the A in the front still tells us the same up or down and the slope if it's a whole number. But we had our little dance moves. Remember, inside, we shake our head side to side, so that means left or right. And it tells us to do the opposite because we're shaking our head no. The outside, we're shaking our head up and down, like we're agreeing, so we're doing the same sign that we think it is, and we're shaking our head up or down, so that means it's going to move it up or down. All right, so this example we did in class today, I'm going to talk us through it just to make sure you understand and remember, and we're going to add a few things, and then I'll do one more example. So remember, the negative in the front here told us that it was going to open down. The 3, because it's a whole number, is a slope I'm going to use to count by. Inside, remember we shake our head left to right, and so it tells us to think opposite. So if left and right, if it says positive 2, we really want to go left 2. Outside, think the same, and it's up or down. So that means we're going to go up 4. These last two pieces of information together tell us the vertex. And the vertex, if you remember from the day before, and you need to know this, you need to know all this vocabulary, the vertex is the turning point. So we plotted that one first, and I just went left 2 and up 4. And then we used the slope that we told ourselves, which was this negative 3, to go down 3 and to the right 4, and also to the left 4. That way we have mirror points and we can draw our parabola. Now the things that I want to add that we didn't talk about in class today is listing some important information. So the vertex, we're going to list it. And my vertex is a point, and it is at negative 2, 4. So we just list that as the ordered pair. You could even label it on your graph if you wanted to. Remember, the axis of symmetry is the line that runs down the middle of the parabola. And so if I draw that line, I've got this line that runs down the middle. It's cutting through the x-axis. So my axis of symmetry is x equals, and if you pay attention to where it's cutting at negative 2. You can also get that. Notice that that comes from the vertex. So the x part of the vertex gives us the axis of symmetry. I'm saying it that way to help make you think axis is x, okay? The other thing that I want us to look at is domain and range, which we talked about today. And domain, you already know, domain is, for these problems, is always going to be all real numbers. Our range, notice that the highest y value is 4. So our range is going to be y, and because it's going down, less than or equal to 4. Another cheat for that, if you notice that the range, the value you get for the range, because range is y, comes from the y value of the vertex. So the vertex can tell you the axis of symmetry and the range. It's kind of like a cheat for you. All right, let's do one more all the way together. All right, so here's our second problem. The first thing we need to do is figure out what all information do we get from our equation. So the first thing, this is positive, the 2 is positive, so that means it's going to open up. And my slope is going to be 2, because it's a whole number. Inside, think opposite, so that means positive 5, and left or right, so that means I'm going to go right 5. Remember your dance moves if you're not following where I'm getting this. And then our last number is think the same, so negative 1 and up or down. So this is going to be down 1. This right here gives us our vertex to start at. So I'm going to go right 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 1. That's my vertex point. It's probably going to help you to actually write vertex there just so you remember what that point is. We could even go ahead and write our vertex as 5, -1. And then our slope is 2, so I'm going to go up 2 over 1, up 2 to the left 1 because I want a U shape. Just make it as curved as you can. Try to make it look curved like a U and not like a V. And then remember our cheats now, okay? The vertex, the axis of symmetry. Remember, axis tells us to look at the x, so the axis is x equals 5, because I'm looking at the 5 from the x. The range can come from the y for the vertex, so that's y, and because we're going up, greater than or equal to -1. And then domain is always all real numbers. All right, come in class tomorrow ready to practice some of these skills together.